Hello, this is Soundout here, back with our SH Figuarts review. Today we have Kamen Rider Zolda from Kamen Rider Ryuki. Yeah. If you saw my Kamen Rider Oja posing montage, you might have picked up on the fact that while I have all the Figmas, I got into buying the Figuarts. This is because they come with cards, and they have opening visors, and they have more accessories, and I have a problem. A big problem. Anyways, I do own Ryuki, Knight, and Oja, as you've seen the pose montage for Oja. If you would like to see reviews of them, let me know. If there's an overwhelming response, I'll definitely do it. But for now, we're going to take a look at Zolda. If you do, you can make your comment at any time. You don't need to decide right now if you want to see reviews of the other three. If you don't, I won't be offended. Anyways, you can see here, Master Rider Zolda there. Mast, of course, being the English translation of Kamen, if you did not know. It's a nice holofoil green. You can see the box is quite wide, making Oja currently the only Ryuki Figuart to have a normal-sized Figuarts box. There's big wide box of Ryuki, thick box of Knight, normal-sized box for Oja, slightly wider box for Zolda, but that's mainly because of his two giant shoulder cannons, which literally was the selling point for this figure originally. But you can see there's Zolda. He looks really nice. On the side, you got Master Rider Zolda again, in the nice holofoil letters all around. On the back, you got this really cool shattered glass effect. Shattered glass. And it looks really cool. You got the shoot vent, the add vent. Just to shoot vent once, because they made two things shoot vent. Lols. I don't know why there's a close-up of his face. Anyways, he looks really cool, considering he's one of the riders from Ryuki that actually do, think is a cool character. Definitely nice to have. So, without further ado, let's open him up. So here is Zolda himself, also known as Kamen Rider Torque to you American fans of Dragon Knight. I am really happy that I did pick up the Figuarts for Ryuki, because these are a lot better. Plus, now I can have Dragon Knight and Ryuki fight each other. But as you can see here, you got a nice helmet design with all these little details in it, which is really essential for a Zolda figure. All the armor pieces are in place. It looks really nice. Shoulder pads do move quite a bit. This little piece moves. These little pieces move too. And you got all these ports on him all over the place, which all come off, I think, at some point. Or you can at any time. Basically, he uses the same body as Knight, as Ryuki, Knight, and Oja. His Advent deck is removable. And you can see here that they did a great recreation of the deck from the show. Got the logo, even got cards in there, you've got two little circles, and the belt underneath is detailed. Well, it's basically the same belt as the other three riders. It's good. Now, surprisingly, he has die-cast feet. This is like the only Figuarts line that has die-cast feet that started new after they started going to plastic feet. Probably because they pretty much gang mold the whole thing, because from the arm down, the shoulders down, and the waist down, they're pretty much the same on all of them. Aside from the little symbol on the bottom of the foot, which is insane. I never expected them to do that. Now, I'm going to go over the articulation since I haven't reviewed one of the Ryuki Figuarts yet. It's got a full motion neck. It does have full movement. You got outward shoulder movement, a little slightly restricted, but 360 shoulders, not restricted at all. You got a double joint elbow. You got a rotation here, and a rotation here, and a triple joint wrist. Got an upward movement, a waist movement, outward leg movement, forward back leg movement, a thigh joint, double joint knee, ankles do move back and forth, left and right, and the toe does pivot. They aren't on ball joints like many others, but you do get that. So very nicely articulated. You can get them in any pose you really want to. Now we get on the complicated stuff. His accessories. You get a gun holding hand. a card holding hand. Let's see. Open hands. You get tight grip holding hands. A slightly looser grip holding hands. And rage hands. Basically, you cannot have, there's no hand that you wish you had. Also, you do get his cannon shoot vent. And his other cannon shoot vent. I don't know why I'm calling them cannon shoot vents. His over-shoulder shoot vent. We'll look at those in a second. You do get this little piece, which we'll take a look at in a second. You get the Magnu Visor, which we'll take a look at in a second. You also have this mysterious black piece, which we'll look at in this little while. And you get 4 cards. You get tiny advent cards of Magnu Giga. You can see they have the backs too, which is really cool. You get the over-the-shoulder shoot vent. So I just dropped that, which frightened me quite dearly. You get the launcher shoot vent. And you get the final vent. Now these are made of paper, but it's a very thick paper, so don't worry too much about ripping them unless you're being very violent with your Figuarts. Now, you do get his Magnu Visor, which you can see here is really nicely detailed, even more so than the Figma version. All the details are present. You can open it, you can pull this back, and this comes down. And now you have the ability to input the advent cards, like so. They fit in there, and they close up. And this does adjust this little piece in the front here. Yeah. And then you open it up, and there's the card. So, that's really cool. I wouldn't suggest putting more than one card in there. It's probably going to get jammed. But, for those of you that were upset that you couldn't, it wasn't all spring-loaded on this tiny device, which is, less than an inch big in diameter, it wasn't spring-loaded. Well, it kind of is. The way the card's put in place, it does kind of spring out a bit. You can do this better. You hold it like this, and go bam. So it is like that. To attach it to his hip, instead of going the peg system that the Figma did, I'm going to pop this little rider cap off. You're going to take this other rider cap. The ball joint is going to peg in there. Make sure that's pegged in there tightly. And then put this rider cap back over it. Eventually clicking everything into place, or so. Put it on backwards. So now that's in place. Now, you take the gun, the Magnu Visor, you remove this piece here, which is very tiny, so don't lose it. Now I've got a hole. And now you can have the Magnu Visor stored on his hip. And then you can fiddle with the other accessories. These do take time to put on. Let's start with the over-shoulder cannon. Since we haven't looked at these at my channel, they did not include this with the Figma. They also did not include his Advent Beast, like Ryuki and Knight came with theirs. As you can see, awkward pegs. For this to be stable, they had to make a whole new mold for this. So basically, this can't be made out of transforming Magnu Giga's parts. But they are still articulated, as you can tell by popping off ball joints. So you do have legs here if you want. So you get kind of a rough estimate at how tall Magnu Giga's going to be. Except you can't, because these are shrunken, because that's the nature of the show. So they are posable like this. Now, to get them to attach to his back is a simple task. All you need to do is pop these rider caps off. Now it does say R, and this cap says R, so you can't get those mixed up unless you don't realize that they have R's and L's on them. And then you can plug this into his back here. It's pretty straightforward. And now he's got giant shoulder cam. That's a problem, isn't it? unless you have him hunched forward, he does not stand with these things on his shoulders. So, to remedy this, they give you this piece. Now, this piece has a hole in it and a little clip. And if you tuck this back here, it's like a little slot right here. See, there's a little... You just clip this into place, like so. And now, you take a Tamashii stage, and peg that in there. Tamashii stage not included, by the way. But there you go. Now, he's perfectly stable, and he's got giant shoulder cannons on. So, I gotta say, that is pretty cool. Because if you were to not have pieces fall off, thank you, Zolda. If you were to clip it on his waist, he'd still have balance issues. But now that's clipped to the back of his cannons, he does not have balance issues. So I really do enjoy that. I imagine Magna Giga might come with a stand, so this might explain things. Other thing you get is this other launch vent, which does have some movement. You can't put it at the targeting site for when you have it in cannon mode, and if you want them to have it standing, these little things come apart too, so you can have it stand. It is quite large. It's not split in half. It came 2 parts. I put it back together, and now it won't come apart again. So I'd recommend not doing that. There's basically hands designed to hold these handles. It's just a matter of wedging it onto the hand. As you can see, I'm using my method I did with the Figmas, which was to wedge these on in the best way possible. And then attach them to the hands. So you get these on here, which can be quite the task sometimes. Sometimes, I mean always, because, yeah. And then you just pop his hands off. And yes, I'm not removing the shoulder cannons. This is going to be awesome. And then work from there, basically popping this on here. Yes, I don't feel like turning off the camera to do this. Basically, I'm going to turn the camera off to do this. I gotta say, it's pretty badass. So, overall, how can I recommend SH Figuarts Kamen Zolda? If you like the design, if you seemingly like it, it's a great figure. Considering it's like the normal, it's like as much as Fourze Fire States was, you get so much with it because of how they made one mold and are able to spread it between like 15, 16 figures. It's really cool. I do like the body mold they use for the Ryuki Figuarts. The accessories are really neat. And, damn it, he comes with shoulder cannons and a giant missile launcher. Plus tiny cards and hands and a little gun. It's really cool. And they have his Advent Beast, Magna Giga, coming out, I believe in August, was what most sources are saying. So, you'll definitely have this guy's Advent Beast soon. And he's still in stock in most places. But he's a really nice figure. I definitely recommend him to Ryuki fans and fans of his design, especially Dragon Knight fans too, because this is much better than the Figma. It comes with much more accessories. So, stay tuned for more Figuarts and more types of reviews in the future. Be sure to check out RidersRangersRambles.com for token news and more in the craziest way possible. And tell us the sound saying goodbye.